will have a operation in the States. And we're here today simply because I was having a conversation with a couple of people, including the lovely host of this meeting. And I said, look, there's actually a pipeline for people who are looking to emigrate to Australia if they have an accounting background, because the typical accountant in Australia is well into their 50s, generally male, but well into their 50s, with no genuine succession plan on how to roll their business over. And that's why businesses like ours that go around and acquire them gaining foothold. So we obviously do some offshore accounting, and that's just a fact of life. But the gap or the gap in the market is and will be growing, where you have a pleasant, well-presented, well-spoken person who can do lots of client interaction. Those people will become increasingly valuable around the world, no more than in Australia, I can tell you. So with every accounting firm that we're buying, we could immediately place an individual in a client-facing position so that they build relationships with clients. They're not so technically brilliant or don't have to be, because technology allows information to deliver quickly to the client-facing advisor or the client, or a combination thereof. So there are already a number of people doing this. I've got a colleague in Australia, in South Australia, which is a southern state of this country, who's already brought 5 people in under that process. So we're now discussing on how we would build a organisation to bring people in who obviously want to do offshore accounting or want employment, but may have an eye to developing their skills and their qualifications, either mainly in Australia and probably the same thing in the US as some other day, and with a genuine view to wanting to emigrate to Australia. It would be most likely that there would be opportunities, particularly in in the rural and regional parts of Australia. So I'll give you an example. We're looking at an accounting practice, quite successful, in a wealthy country town, surrounded by farming, mining, and heavy transport. Quite a successful practice run by a very good female accountant for a long period of time. And we're in a stage of due diligence for her to buy her business, her to stay on for 5 years, and for us to find a successor. And that successor is going to be somebody who can build a relationship in the local community, knows their accounting, obviously, but has a sales and client relationship building skill. And one of the things that we think would be maybe a benefit is to build some sort of academy in the Philippines, where apart from the accounting skills, those other skills get built. Because if you can find a well-presented, well-spoken, personable accountant, it's worth a lot of money to any group, including ours, I can assure you. So I'm not going to drown you with PowerPoints. In fact, I don't have any, because the first thing is just to have a chat and answer some questions for half an hour or so. And I'm happy to break the myths about living in Australia, good or bad, and what it's like to operate in the accounting world in Australia. So, Marion, if you want to chair the meeting, I'm happy to.
Yeah, guys, do you have questions? My question would be, you mentioned that the requirements that you need is basically with accountancy degree, accountant by profession.
Yeah, so if anybody's done an accounting degree in the Philippines and has CA, Chartered Accountant, or CPA, they're transferable to Australia. It needs some top-up courses, But if you're doing back office accounting or doing accounting on a offshoring role with an Australian accounting firm, the crossover to getting your Australian CPA or Australian CA would be a relatively simple study program and probably would happen quite quickly. Okay. And like it's as simple as that. I mean, that's where we're at. It's not a magic wand material.
Mhm.
But you know, there are some things about this country that probably are slightly overemphasized. I mean, most people look at the exchange rate and go, "Wow, I can live on, you know, live the life, you know, live on a very comfortable salary with lots of money in Australia." Australia is becoming an expensive place to live. If you were emigrated and was working in a fairly high up position in a rural accounting firm, or in fact may well run that business for our group, not only would you earn a fairly significant income because we have a salary plus bonus, 2 levels of bonuses. The reality is to buy a property and live in a house and raise a family in regional or rural Australia is very, very cost effective, and it's a wonderful lifestyle. You know, the town that we're looking at, you know, has 10,000 people on it, has all the facilities you'd ever need, and it's just a fantastic rural community. And someone could quite comfortably, happily make their life for a period of 5 or 10 years there and you'd end up coming out of there owning a house, you know, 10-year resume or 5-year resume if you ever wanted to leave, you know. So, you know, I'm happy to take questions. I'll answer them as brutally, honestly as I always do. So, does anybody have any specific questions?
Yeah, guys, you can type in, then I'll repost on our chat box with Tony. So if you have question, it's I think it is just the best opportunity. There's a question here. It's Tagalog, but I'll translate.
Fantastic.
What are
Tagalog, not so good.
this one? What are the necessary requirements and what is the anticipated budget for the migration?
Okay. So if you have a CPA or a CA degree in the Philippines, there are courses that you can do online on the Australian New Zealand CPA and CA, which will give you Australian qualifications. If you're currently working for an Australian accounting firm and doing the work anyway, it will be really simple. Like Australian tax law, in the bulk of Australian tax law is relatively simple, but on the margins quite complicated. The budget, most organisations, we're in the process of becoming what's called a sponsoring business, and we would generally pay most of the sponsoring. I think it's around about $10,000 to bring somebody over, and that's the cost that someone like us would bear.
Yeah, there's one more question, Tony. Is there a possibility for the scholarship, if ever?
No doubt. You know, if the right person put themselves forward. Technical qualifications. So I've been on this earth a long time, and so here's what I know about professional services. One of the most important elements moving forward will be to have the ability to communicate well with clients and be comfortable doing that. Technical skills in providing advice to clients is an important skill, but it won't be the skill, right? Building relationships in a community, having the confidence to do so, being able to put yourself out there is going to be critical. If you're going to be a total technocrat in the back office of an accounting firm, there's nothing wrong with that. But I can tell you that automation will probably take away a fair bit of that over the next 10 or 15 years. Now, I won't be around to see the end of that. I'm an old man, but some of you are very youthful. And so what you would need to do is be prepared to have the confidence or get the skills to have confidence. And one of the things we're thinking about in the academy is to build those skill sets, because that's critical.
Yeah.
Does that answer that question? So a scholarship, yes.
There is. Good news, but there's a requirement for sure. Eligibility for sure. You will go to assessment test, etc. Background check. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, naturally, but there's also, that you've got to be able to get out in front of people.
Yes. So there's a lot of questions here, Tony. Sorry about that, but yeah, there's I'll type in the chat box. I will put in our chat box.
What's the other?
Hi, Tony. Sponsoring or targeting accounting professional only. I'm asking if we're to migrate, I would also like my husband and child to come with me, but he's in another profession.
Okay, well, we're about to take over the sponsorship of a very nice young man from north of Manila. He lives in Australia. And he's not an accountant. He's in another area of our business. So the answer would be yes.
Okay. I think it answered questions of the attendees. Is there any chance for those who are not accounting graduate and does not have experience yet? Will there be an option for student visa for that?
How far? Hey, so the question is a rather personal one, and I don't particularly. I can take that one another time. We can deal with that directly. But the bridge to CPA or CA would be important, but not necessary. One must have an accounting degree, though, right?
Okay. I think, Joanne, I hope we answer your question. Is there any chance for those who are not accounting and does not extend is there a chance to migrate via taking up scholarship? Though I am not a CPA, but already practicing an accounting role for 15 years, already working for Australian client for 4 years, doing bookkeeping and tax accountant role.
Okay, so I'll answer it this way. If we were holding interviews in Cebu or Manila to select people, all of those things are positive, right? All of those things are positive. So it's going to be a case-by-case thing. But generally speaking, in an organisation like ours, the ultimate goal may well be that number one or number two in an accounting firm that we buy, and the owner exit and you run the accounting firm on our behalf as part of the bigger group. Now, it may be that you never achieve that because it's not your cup of tea, or it's not what you aspire to. But certainly we're certainly looking for people that have the ability to communicate well with clients, either face to face or by correspondence, because in the future, the people with the ability to communicate and connect are going to be valuable. Technology will deal with the technical side of things and there'll be less roles in that job. Okay.
Yeah, I think the gist of this conversation is yes, skills and expertise are we can consider, but they want someone who can really, communicate well, client facing. We call it a client facing, where you're very confident enough to discuss to the clients of course the company profile, the services that the firm can offer.
So I'll give you an example. We've got a young gentleman, and he's about 30. He actually is from the Philippines. He's gone to Canada to do a further study in a particular field. He is an accountant by trade, and he currently is doing work for us from Canada. And next week he'll start doing his first meetings with clients via Teams, because he's got very good English, or good English. He's bubbly, he's bright, he'll be able to connect.
Okay, I think that's answer. Someone with personality of client-facing and communicate well. Maybe that's the key. And for those of you who's wondering, how can I develop those skills, right? Good thing it can be learned. Right, Tony?
Yeah,
it can be learned.
That's correct. I mean, I was naturally shy when I started out in this business. And so it's just a confidence building thing. we don't expect people, in day one to stand up the front like Donald Trump or anything like that. But it's a thing. What I'm getting at is in all professional services, finance, accounting, financial planning, all of those, technology will one day replace or largely replace the technical advisor side of businesses. Okay, I'm not a doomsayer. It might take 20 years, but slowly parts of accounting will get shaved off. I've got in our group, we've got an accounting firm called CDM Partners, and we have a gentleman that works for us about 5 days a week from Upwork, 10 hours a week, automating accounting workflow. So when this happens, the automation does this, and this. Now, some of those jobs, some of those tasks are being done by offshore accountants today. So every accounting business in the world, every financial planning business in the world is looking to automate as much as possible. Now, I'm not trying to scare you. It'll take 25 years or 30 years. I'll be long gone. But slowly, the people who can communicate with confidence with people face to face are going to be incredibly valued. I could find jobs for 15 people in rural Australia today if you had those skill sets. This accounting firm we're looking to buy, we would probably have 2 or 3 people if they were ready. If we had this process ready, would go into that business eventually. Right?
Yeah.
I'll give you another. Yeah. So
yes.
That's what I'm trying to relay here. And I wouldn't be frightened of any of it, you guys. Nothing. Don't be frightened of it. I mean, you talk to your brothers and sisters and husbands and wives and, all of that. So it's not hard. It's just got to have the confidence, and that's easy.
I think, instead of being a fear or frightened, it's take us a challenge to step up and to look for ways to,
and it won't be everybody who's good at it, and that's okay. There is a need for the back office accountant. We've got the need now. But what I'm saying is in the long run, they'll be the people that get probably the more valuable people up front is the people that got confidence and or have the signs of being confident. Yeah.
I think that's it. So there's a lot of questions here.
So I'll give you an example. We're going to replace 2 of our staff in our financial planning division with a lady who's married to a Filipino guy and another guy. Sorry, we're going to recruit a male and female staff member who are both from not necessarily Manila, but outside of that, who've been working in Australia for 5 years. And they have that confidence. They're not going to be accountants. They're just going to do roles inside another division. But it's a great example of somebody coming from, the Philippines, getting supported through the migration process and finding really, really good roles. Like they're getting paid really well, as any accountant is at the moment.
Yeah, there's a good question here. Again, you mentioned good communication. For those fresh accounting graduate with no experience Australian, but with good communication skill, is it possible?
Yep. Yeah. Because there's an old saying, which you recruit for attitude and you train for aptitude. So what that means simply is that it's possible to train someone to be a good accountant, but it's much more difficult to train them to be outwardly going if they don't want to be. So that skill is important. So the answer is yes. And to be frank, I'd want to talk to that person.
Okay, maybe, her name is Ivy, so you should talk to Tony. They need someone like people who really can communicate, because I've already known some of our friends of Tony. We've been talking since last year already for this. But I think this plan is more can materialize and doable with the help of Tony. So maybe my question would be, what will be the next step? Is there's academy or a form that the update where they can see it? the process?
So the most important thing is probably to have conversations with people like me, and I'm happy to, spend as much time chatting as anybody likes, to give some guidance. And I'm hoping that when I say we, Marion and I, can develop some sort of academy where we could give instruction on some cultural training, some sales skill training. Some of that would be online, some of that would be in person, in a collaborative, in a group session in, Manila, Cebu, Davao, whatever. And it's just a value thing. I mean, the value for our organisation would be that that they're building a pipeline. Just so you understand, I had an office in Cebu, Cebu for about a decade, where we did lots of consulting, mainly to American accountants, to build back offices. So I'm familiar with the way things work over there. I'm not an expert by any measure, but Mary and I have been kicking around a lot of ideas. I think this is actually a very good one to build some sort of academy or process. So somebody can go, yeah, look, over a period of time, I will migrate to Australia. This is if I go through this process, it gives me a very good understanding of what's required of me, how much it's going to cost, all of those things. And at this end, we're currently talking to a group of people who we would see as being potential homes for people that go through that academy, where we've given some basic tuition on, Australian culture, sales skills, all of that sort of thing.
Yeah,
that's a definite thing we're working on, and we're really keen for that to happen. We think Australia's a pretty good place, but I'm biased. But I spent a lot of time in the Philippines, so I love them both. I get to dearly.
Yeah, maybe we will give Tony a reason to come back in the Philippines soon to see the community.
Yes, look, I can swim with the migrating whale sharks, that sort of stuff.
Just to give an idea, I think maybe Tony, you can mention that you have a group of companies, not only one. That's why we met. Yeah.
So we have a head company called FRM Consulting Group Australia, and I gave you the website before. If anybody wants to, send me a message via Teams or WhatsApp or whatever, I can give you a details. We have two accounting firms at the moment. One called Surfside Accounting, because that's near the beach, and another one called CDM Partners. We have a financial planning and insurance division. We have a mortgage division. We have a property division. We've got a company called TSC, which stands for Task Force Consulting, which does very highly specialised projects that we're working on. One of them we're working on in America, and I believe that we'll be able to offer the same thing probably about this time next year to America. So yeah, that's what we do. Our overall process is to keep buying accounting firms in Australia, to build up the scale. And like I said, we have a very particular methodology where we retain the accounting, the business we've just bought, we retain all of its, as a separate entity, and then we put someone in there. They're responsible for that. They get a salary plus a bonus on profitability, plus they get a part of the bonus in the group. So we have a very very fair structure, and it's a great opportunity for someone. And I would say now, if we bought the accounting firm in rural Queensland, and we look to buy more, somebody could quite happily build a fantastic life living in rural and regional Australia. Great place to raise kids, great place to become part of the community. Just a fabulous bunch of people out there, honest, down to earth, farmers and miners, and just lovely people. I actually really want to buy this so I can drive out there once a month and spend a few days out of there, which just is a bit selfish, but I really like the people we're dealing with. I love the town, and it's just it'd be a lovely place to, if I was 40 years younger, it'd be a great place to raise a family, to be honest.
You're still young, Tony. Don't worry.
No. Listen, most people ring me once a day to make sure I'm still alive. I'm that old.
Yeah. Speaking of age, there's age limit here?
No, not at all. The staff, the age spread in our business is I'm the oldest, and we've got about 25 as the youngest. So yeah, no, we're more interested in fit, cultural and psychological fit into the practice, not into the business.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Any more question, guys? Because Tony will be available for an hour.
I'm happy to. If anyone wants to speak privately, I'm happy for Manny to give out my details, or contact directly on, like I said, on WhatsApp. Tony Devon, my name DEVIN.
Yeah. I think I'll give the questionnaire to you, because I give a form where they can ask you, because there's a lot of there are already 37. For those of you who doesn't fill up the form, if you're shy to ask question,
well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you send if there's a form or whatever, yes, and send them to Marion, and she can send them to me, and I'll happily email you back. So then you'll have my contact details. And like I said, if you're shy, that's fine. There's no reason. This is just a chat. It's always going to be a chat. For some people, this just won't be. Whilst you might have inquired as to coming over, it might be in the end, just not your cup of tea. I understand from my experience there that the family unit side of things is really important, more so than say in Australia. And so that might not be the right for some people, but for those that it is, it'll be a lot of fun, and you could look back on it and go, it was a really great experience. We're really blunt and straight up and down and transparent. We're just too old to tell. We don't entertain people who tell lies. I'm happy to send you a document, an overview document of our group. If anybody wants that, if you can give your email address, I'll send you a 4 or 5 page overview of our group, and that'll give you some insight to what we're doing and what we're looking to achieve. And like I said, life is too short to wonder. You've got to ask the questions. Better to find out what you don't want to do, because that helps you find out what you want to do. And like I said, this might, it's a great opportunity. I wish I was 30 years younger, I could tell you, because the best part of what we've got going on is going to happen in the next 20 years for our group. Right? We've just got so much fun ahead, and we're just looking for the right people all the time. Spending money to get someone over here is a small price to pay to have the right people in our group, I can tell you.
Yeah,
Okie dokie.
Yeah. Okay, I'll send the form to you, Tony. For those of you who doesn't fill up the form, it's a best time to fill up, so I can send to Tony the information, and he can email you directly. But again, thank you so much, Tony. Do you have any more questions? Again, for me, we'll be posting a lot of details on how to proceed.
If you want to write, my email address is Tony D.
Yeah. Tony's giving now his email worldwide.
It's Tony D at FRMCG, that's Foxtrot Romeo Mike Charlie Golf. That's far too much time in the airports. .com.au. So that's FRMCG.
Yes.
Foxtrot Romeo Mike Charlie Golf. .com.au. So if you email me, I'll email you back. I commit to that. It'll probably be over the weekend. I've got a bit on this week. And if it doesn't come through to your inbox, have a look in your spam or junk, because it's obviously an email that you might not have received previously. But like I said, happy to answer any questions. It's pretty easy. I'll just get any information of, if you like, what salary expectations are, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, okay. I already posted your email too. For those people who's in the Zoom, I already sent the email of Tony. You can email him directly, and we will post any updates on how to really migrate, because again, it's a process. But if you're really sure and dedicated on how to migrate and study on Australia, I think Tony is our way to get there, and there's a connection already between us, so we can make ways to really give you or help you to find your ideal life in Australia, I think, for those who really wants to migrate. Any more questions? I'll give the form to Tony, so better sign up. And then Tony, maybe my question will be for example, you're a client, because most of here really loves to work Australian client. If you're interviewing a candidate, what will be the first thing that you need to know from that person for Australian point of view, a candidate?
It's all about attitude.
Yeah. Not the expertise and skills, right? Not the certification.
You can train for all of that. If you're currently doing accounting and you want to do CPA, you can buy that. And then you can buy the qualifications. You just have to pay money to get to those. If they're necessary at all, they might not be necessary. In fact, you can be an accountant in Australia as long as you get a tax agent's license, which is a very simple process. So somebody with profound skills, like who's been doing it for 15 years and knows Australian bookkeeping for 4 or 5, that they are somebody that who you would take their intellectual skills and assume a whole lot and then go, right, can we train this person to be, if it suits them, to be client-facing advisor, as we call them, because that's what makes money. I've referred to one of our accounting firms $100,000 in fees this year by meeting people, talking to them, telling them about our group, and sending it to our accounting firm. That's what wins business, being pleasant, personable, with some level of knowledge. So somebody will ask me an accounting question. I go, listen, I'm not an accountant, but I've been around them all my life, and this is what I think. But what I'll do is I'll refer you to Kate or to whoever it is, and there's a new client. That will happen every day if you are that can happen every day. So, like I said, we've got one referrer who sent us $100,000 in fees, right? And they're here. You just have to find them, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that you have to, but you will. Because once you start to understand how much fun this job can be, you can have a lot of fun in financial services world. Accounting doesn't have to be sitting behind a desk every day looking at a computer screen. It's far more valuable to go out and meet people and sell yourself and the company. Because you know what? Somebody in the Philippines can do all the back office. I mean, that's literally what's happening. All this is perhaps an opportunity for some of you to go, you know what? I'm going to change my life. I'm going to go do this. And some of you won't. That's okay. I would, I understand, I'm old enough to understand the choices in life is often very difficult. But you'll have a lot of fun. You'll be safe. You'll have a lot of fun. You'll meet some really interesting people. If you end up in regional and rural Australia, some of the characters out there will make, you'll have a ball. It's, they're soul of the earth people out there. And some of them extremely, extremely wealthy. And a lot of them, it's just a great place to be. Like I said, our plan would be to buy 4 or 5 accounting firms in regional Australia and build up a network out there, honestly. They're just much better to people to deal with. Anyway, like I said, if anybody wants to have a one-on-one Teams meeting or answer emails, just let me know. I'm happy to have a chat. As you can see, I'm not particularly shy, but you can ask me 1,000 questions. I don't mind at all.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, we're always chatting on LinkedIn with Tony. That's why we're here right now.
If anybody wants to connect on LinkedIn, feel free.
Yeah, please add Tony and please post in the community in LinkedIn the takeaways and say thank you to Tony for
No, I apologize for being late, but thank you for your time.
It's okay. Yeah,
okay.
Thank you so much, Tony. And don't leave, guys. We have a few more announcements. Thank you, Tony. I'll keep in touch. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Alright, guys, for those of you, dun sa questionnaires natin, pwede nyo magamit. And iniwan naman ni Tony, napakabait niya. Pinakita niya talaga yung link, ano niya, ay tawag dito. Kanyang emails. And for those of you, sana mag-fill up ng form. And tomorrow, meron po ulit tayo kay Nick Sinclair. Again, another powerful speaker. I think this is the most, one of the, siguro favorite na ano ko ngayon, speaker ko, maliban sa iba. Siyempre baka magalit yung ibang speaker, pero siyempre iba yung Nick Sinclair. Meron na itong na-prove talaga sa larangan na outsourcing and globally. So I think take natin yung chance. And for those of you who's waiting for AU, I suggest pwede kayong ano na lang, ibigay ko na lang link, wag na lang muna kayo. Picture tayo, tapos yung link for those of you who wants to, nasa ba yung link natin ng AU? Sinave ko na kanina, hindi ko na alam kung nasaan. Admin Jen or Patch, nakita niyo ba yung link na AU? Para lang sa waitlist, guys, kasi hindi pa namin alam kung kailan, but mas makaka-help siguro kung, sige, maka-sign up kayo ng form, saka yung link na AU for waitlist, baka ma-pull out ni Jen. Nasagot ba yung mga tanong yon? How to migrate? Nakatulong ba? Tuloy po naman po siya. We're just finalizing. Picture na, lalabas na sila. We're just finalizing yung date kasi nga, again, you know naman what happened to Coach A. So, we want to make sure she's okay muna para mabigay naman niya yung best niya sa pagtuturo, di ba? So, please bear with us. Ayan. So, picture na tayo, guys. Sinong pwedeng picture? Ayan, may email na kayo ni Tony. Mabait naman yun. Hindi yun masungit-sungit ng content. Charot, hindi. Mabilis mairita. Hindi na siya makapasok. Gigil na sa akin kanina sa ano. Anong gagawin ko? Hindi kami bati ng Zoom. Buti na lang may naisip akong way. Buti na lang gumagana pa utak natin kahit ang dami nang iniisip sa buhay. Ayan. Picture. Sino magpipicture? There's a will, there's a way, di ba? Sayang naman yung chance. Sabi niya, i-postpone daw. Kung hindi, andyan na sila. Tuloy natin. So, I hope nakatulong tayo today as normal nating ginagawa sa community. And I hope for those who's here, please continue to support the community and yung mga tulong na maliliit. Alam ko marami tumutulong sa labas. Nakikita ko yung mga sumasagot, namimigay ng ayuda, trabaho, whatever. Please continue doing that as our core natin sa community. Okay ba yon? Pay it forward, guys. Pakitulungan sila. Marami pong naliligaw ng landas. Turo po ang daan. Yan. Picture na, guys. Wala ako dito. Sinong pwedeng punyo? Mistake, saan ka pupunta? Bakit naka-aura ka? Parang ako lang. Nakapunta. Si Mistake. Di ba? Paayos. Sino picture? Hi, Jason. Hi, mga guys. Yung mga marami pong elite. Ayan. Guys, paantay ng AU, ang dami na pong nag-i-inquire kailan, but please stay tuned. Sino na nag-register kay Nick bukas? 194. I-up ko lang ulit yung packs kasi naka 100 lang to eh. 30 minutes lang bukas si Nick. Kaya magtanong na kayo dun sa form, ha? Kasi ibabasahin ko mamaya kung ano yung pinaka magandang itanong. Yun yung kunin natin. Okay ba? Tomorrow yon, 7:30 a.m. Mambubulabog na ako ng 6 a.m. Pumasok na kayo ng maaga. Baka magka-stampede. Again, okay, picture tayo, guys. Stop ko na yung recording and saan na ba ako? Saan ako mag-ano? Kung makita. Sino po nagpipicture? Sino pong mabait? O hindi na lang mabait. Pa-picture na lang. Yung hindi mabait. Joanny, sino may mabait dyan? Jason, ikaw na lang. Mabait daw. Ayan ang anak ko. Jason. Ang edit yan eh. Saan ako titingin? Dito pala. Dito ako. Dito. Di ba ang saya pag naka-open yung cam?
Okay na po. One.
Pakitag na lang si Tony. Ayan. See you in Australia. Charot. Parang ganun lang kabilis na. See you in Australia. At least meron na tayong gate person or mai-inquire regarding migration. Yun naman ang importante, di ba? Hindi na tayo maliligaw kung saan man tayo mag-i-inquire. At least nasa isang tao na lang tayo. Tayo ba?
Parang hindi ka naka-on camera.
Ako po? Ay, hindi ba? Yan. Sayang naman yung ano ko.
Ayan ulit.
Oy,
Wait lang.
linis.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Doon tayo.
Okay na po.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Sean. And again, for those of you waiting for AU, standby lang po for those na nasa FB pages. Stay tuned. And tomorrow again, then sa Thursday, 7 p.m., si Miss Stacy OBM. Hanggang next week, may speaker po tayo Thursday night. Okay, thank you so much. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye. Bye-bye.